Hi there, this is Chris from MoneyHub, and this video looks at frequently asked questions for travel insurance for pregnancies. So we get asked lots of questions. We've put together a comprehensive list down here in our guide, which I've linked to down below in the video description. But it's really important to note that if you have anything specific to a policy, please ask the insurer because it's their policy and they're the ones to know. It's certainly not for us to comment on. Of course, if you do have questions, do leave them down below. We will respond. Oh, I just wanted to make that clear up front. Now, the first thing is the most common question: what is the cutoff for travel insurance coverage for pregnancy? This will vary based on the insurer. So, for example, if I have a look at the policy from Southern Cross, it's saying that we're going to cover everything up until the 24th week, i.e., the first 23 weeks and 6 days. But if I look at something from Chubb Life, which is an insurer for some credit cards and a few other things direct, then they're saying it's the end of the 23rd week. So that's just really important. We've put together a comprehensive list of when the insurers cover it. That's within the section up above if you want to click on our link, but it just will vary by the insurer. So make sure that you don't get caught out and know exactly how many weeks. Now, the second question is, does travel insurance cover childbirth? Now, some insurance policies will cover it and some of them won't. So it really depends. We've said it's typically not covered, but for example, Southern Cross is saying that they will cover it, up until the 24th week, of course, which is when the policy is valid for. Whereas others will say straight away, not going to cover it. So just be aware that that's going to be very specific to what policy. Can I get a refund for my trip because of my pregnancy? So that's when you can't travel. That is going to be approved by some insurers and some other insurers won't. So it just once again depends on the policy. If I show you some examples here. So Southern Cross is going to cover in this policy for cancelling or changing your journey before you leave. Whereas for Chubb Life, they've said the same thing. So they'll also make covers there. Of course, you have to have the evidence, but within the policy limit, then there will be some coverage there. We're not saying that Chubb Life or Southern Cross are the go-to insurers. I'm just showing those as two examples, and of course, these policies change all the time. So be aware that this is just an example, and it shows you that the policies they'll detail it. So you just have to look quite extensively to find it. Now, what documentation will I need to make a claim related to my pregnancy? So this is going to usually be for things around complications and those unfortunate things like that. You'll just need the medical evidence, and that's going to be provided, of course, by the hospital or the clinician or whoever you see and get the treatment from. And then also, do you need to inform your insurance provider, i.e., your travel insurer, you're pregnant uh, prior to travel? Well, the answer to that is yes. So that's because it's seen as a pre-existing condition for some policies. So they'll of course want to know. Now, how does travel insurance treat multiple pregnancies? This is if you're pregnant with twins or if you're pregnant with triplets and things like that. So usually it's just going to reduce the coverage limit. So that means that if a policy is normally 24 weeks, well then if you have a multiple pregnancy, then it'll be 19 weeks. We've put that very clear within our list here. And so you can see that there's clear guidance. So you can see here that for one cover, which is a travel insurer, then you can see for a single fetus, it's 24 weeks, and then for multiple pregnancies, it's up to the 19th week. So now some final questions. Is prenatal care covered by travel insurance? Checkups and scans, usually not. And you're really being covered for unexpected complications, not so much all your medical costs and things like that. And then, are medical costs for the baby covered if I give birth overseas? This is where it can get tricky. So some insurers are like, yes, we'll cover things, and then other insurers will say no, absolutely no coverage whatsoever. So it's really important to make that distinction. And if you are looking for a full travel insurance policy which covers a new child, then that is going to be very important as a driver of your policy. Of course, it's probably going to cost more, but then it's giving you that protection should something go wrong with, or actually should you have, should you have a premature birth. So for some context here, Chubb Life has said that, they exclude children that are born. So it just says here, meaning that a newborn, whether born prematurely or otherwise, is not considered a covered person under the policy. And if you compare that to the policy from Southern Cross, you'll see that neonatal care is actually included for a child until you return to New Zealand, where of course you'd be transferred to the New Zealand system. So that's really important to know that there's certainly differences, and that's why the detail is very, very important. And then finally here, should I can I be covered if a doctor says not to travel, but then I proceed? So that is going to void most travel insurance because you've obviously got some complication or something like that. And so, if you do travel, then on your own, decision there, then it's going to be problematic for the travel insurer should a claim arise. So that's why they want to know exactly the situation. So you're going to have to talk through such a situation with the travel insurer, who will say outright whether or not it means your cover will be valid or not. So those are just some of the frequently asked questions, which of course were asked. We can't publish a whole big lost of list because there's too many. But as I said, please leave a comment below if you have any general questions. Otherwise, do talk to your travel insurer because that's the best way to approach this. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope this has been useful. We want to make our guides as comprehensive as possible, so please do leave comments. Thank you.